Hi there, Raquel. Let's take a look at this new set of essays. This is the one about spending money on weddings. Let's see what you said. Critics throughout both the developed and developing world have debated whether the advantages of spending a huge amount of money on weddings would overcome the drawbacks. Some believe it is a special moment in their lives, thus expending unreasonable quantities, plural, on marriage parties is a must. I strongly disagree. Okay, first of all, they're not called marriage parties. They're called wedding receptions, wedding festivities, but not marriage parties. Here you needed some sort of linker, okay? However, would have been nice here. This essay will argue that posh celebrations are a waste of resources, using examples from Oxford University to demonstrate points and prove arguments, okay? On one hand, some people defend the wedding. Let's see. Some people defend, or not even defend, some people support that the wedding is a special and unique celebration and it will happen only once in a life, so they want to have the best memory of that day, and they think it is possible only when the event is fancy. For example, the venue is well decorated, enormous amounts of foods and beverages are available, you're missing an R here, and everyone who they know are invited. The main reason behind this, in my opinion, is the fact that the wedding is a good opportunity for rich people to show off their wealth, know why, and elevate their social standing. Okay, this started off really good, but it's a little underdeveloped, so there was more you could have said here. There was more you should have said. Take a look at this. Look where your sentence starts, okay? And it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going all the way here. So it's like 4.5 lines, which is really far too long. You should have split this up into at least a couple of sentences. And in the end, it's just a paragraph with 2 sentences. So it's underdeveloped, and the sentence is just far, far, far too long. Okay? Okay. However, you did talk, well, the other thing that I want to say is that you gave me some information that made me think, okay, yeah, we're going to talk about why this is a benefit, but you didn't really. Instead, what you really just did was you told me more of the reasons why they spend a lot of money, but you didn't tell me how this is beneficial. I thought you were going to. You kind of started to when you said that this will give them the best memory of that day. But then again, like I said, you kind of lost it along the way. So I think you could have talked about benefits of this trend. How does it benefit and who does it benefit? But again, since you just really have this very long list, you kind of lost this thing that you had started to create. Okay. On the other hand, I share the opinion of people who believe it is possible to celebrate the marriage of a couple without spending a lot of money, if the bride and groom decide to have a simple party with only closest friends and family. In this case, it is better to spend the money on more useful things, such as buying a house, making worldwide travel. That's awkward. We don't say making worldwide travel. We could say traveling worldwide, or saving money for old age without the "and." Moreover, I think it is not right to spend a big amount on a posh event when a lot of people around the world are dying of starvation. Recent research without the A, recent research from Oxford University shows that the amount of money spent on luxurious weddings could be enough to have the hunger around the globe, Therefore, it is possible to state beyond doubt that it is foolish and selfish to spend astronomical amounts of money on wedding parties. Again, wedding party is the wrong word here. Okay, let's see. All right, now here what you did is you didn't really answer the question. It asked about the disadvantages of this. I don't really feel like you did. You said that it was foolish, you don't think it's right, you think that the money should be spent on other things, but you didn't really tell me why there are disadvantages and what those disadvantages are. Okay, I didn't get any disadvantages. Just foolish spending and selfish spending, but that's not really a disadvantage. So what are disadvantages? Disadvantages are that people go into debt spending so much money on these weddings, or later on, you know, they have other needs and they don't have the money for those needs because they've spent all of their savings on their wedding. So, and then it's just one day. So you make this huge investment and all you have is like maybe some photographs of it. And a lot of people don't even remember their weddings, honestly. So I think you could have talked a little bit more about disadvantages rather than kind of giving this kind of opinion about what you think is wrong with spending a lot of money. It's different from the disadvantages. I hope that's clear. They've asked you for the benefits of this trend of spending a lot of money and the disadvantages of this trend. Like I said, I don't really feel like you've discussed it. Okay? In other words, do you know what you really did here? You said many people like spending a lot of money on weddings. Or no, many people believe that they must spend a lot of money on weddings. To what extent do you agree? That's what you answered, which is something very, very different from what are the benefits and the disadvantages. Okay, I hope that's clear. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's take a look now at your task 2. Okay, did I say task 2? I meant your task 1. Sorry about that. Let's see. So it's the school subject preferences. The 2 pie charts show the favorite school subjects in New South Wales in 2 years, 2014 and 17. Overall, physics, maths, biology, and geography had significant pieces on both graphs. They're charts, actually. Moreover, chemistry, which had just 1% of the preferences in 2014, vanished from the chart in 2017. Get rid of it. Furthermore, over the 3 years, history had the most significant increase, jumping from 1.2 in 2014 to 19.4 in 2017. Is that your overview? Okay, if that's your overview, it is far, far, far too detailed for an overview. It's no different from a detailed paragraph. So your overview really needs to be a much more general sort of statement of the trends. You could have said that, well, certain things decreased in popularity, other subjects increased, some subjects remained rather stable. Like, for example, you could have said that history had the biggest increase, and then you could talk about maybe what had the biggest decrease, although it's not immediately clear. It might have been like maths or something. Okay, so those are the kinds of things that you're supposed to talk about, but certainly not with data, just with an overall, statement about what you see. All right, let's look at the next paragraph. The first pie chart illustrates the year of 2014 when the most preferred subjects were geography, followed by maths, then by physics with this, and this percent respectively. Whereas the least favorite subjects were, I don't know, I don't like sentences that begin with whereas. I feel like whereas should be linked to the previous sentence. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it does feel awkward. All right, I did check on it, and it does seem like there are some contexts where it is appropriate, it's allowed, but I have to say again that I'm really not a huge fan of it. I would have liked instead something like in contrast. I think would have been a better choice here. Okay, regarding 2017, the second pie chart shows a different scene, not scenery. Biology became the preferred subject in schools, followed by physics and history. No, not on the other hand. While maths and geography had a considerable reduction among the preferences over the years, since they hit the proportion of 12.2 and 18.7 respectively. Okay, this feels short to me. Part of the problem is that you had some of the information here that didn't belong here. It belonged in these other paragraphs, and you didn't really have an appropriate overview. So an examiner looking at this would very possibly say that there's not a clear overview. Maybe this would be your overview, but since you've linked it the way you have to these following sentences, an examiner would probably struggle with this, saying like, well, is this a detailed paragraph or is this an overview? Okay, yeah, so there's some issue with the the way you organize this, okay? With the biggest problem for me being your overview. Let's see. The rest of it is okay. You've included pretty much everything, I think, although I don't remember seeing PE anyway. Let me just double check. Okay, if you left it out and it was on this chart, then that's a problem. There it is. So you had 8 subjects here, okay? And from what I could see in your answer, you only mentioned 7 of them. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to discuss and describe in detail every single one, but you at the very least have to mention them by name, okay? Because somebody reading this will have an inaccurate image of what you're looking at, because especially here, PE takes up 8.7, I think, from what I can read here, even though it shrinks 3 years later. But I didn't see it anywhere, and that's a problem. You didn't even mention it by name as one of the 8 subjects, okay? So that's going to cost you some points for your task achievement because you're leaving out key information. All right, so go ahead and correct these, Raquel. Return them back to us corrected and add the mistakes to your error correction list. Let's see what you write for us the next time. I'll be waiting for it. Good luck.